Season 1 Barbs, are you looking for a leveling build that is not Hoda and not Whirlwind? I do think I have a little something for you. Let's take a look. What's up, everybody? It's your boy JKG Brandon. Before we get into the build, I just want to say thank you for all the love on the channel. It means a lot to me. You guys are the best. If you guys want to do all the things, like, comment, subscribe for all the engagement and all that kind of stuff, go ahead and do it. We did unlock memberships on the account, on the channel as well. So if you want to support me, that's also another way to do it. I'm trying to make it as cheap as possible. So if that's something you want to do, feel free to do it. No pressure. That being said, let's get on into it. I was running Hoda for season 1, was having not a fun time. I'll be completely honest, just the animations were getting me stuck. And so the long Hoda animation was getting me stuck and everything. And I was getting a lot of deaths that were unnecessary as a result. So I wasn't having a whole lot of fun. I was trying to stick it out until, later on when, the damage ramps up and everything like that. But I was in my buddy Kyre's stream and he was running a double swing build. And he was having a lot of fun. He was punching up about 15 to 17 levels over his level in Nightmare Dungeons. So what I mean by that, we're not talking about, the level of the Nightmare Sigil. We're talking about the level of mobs. So just for example, if he was at the time level 50, he would be fighting mobs that were level 65, 67, somewhere in that range, right? So that's kind of where we were at. I was like, that's pretty cool. And that build looks pretty fun to play. So I pulled up his video on it, and I'll link his video and build planner in the pinned comment because he goes into massive depth on how to play this and everything like that. And I just want to give you guys that opportunity to go check that out because I do believe this build is probably the best leveling build for the Barb that for season 1, just because some of these malignant hearts work really well with the skills that we are doing. Without further ado, I'm going to get right up on into it. We're just going to do a quick and dirty one. We're going to go over the aspects. We're going to go over the skill tree. I'm not going to touch on the Paragon board. I'm only on the second page of a Paragon board, and it's a pretty straightforward one so far. I'll give you like 30 seconds with it if I can, and then we'll give some gameplay footage of what it's like to play this build. So starting off, we're gonna just have Protector on the helmet. So we're gonna, when we damage an elite enemy, we're gonna grant a barrier according to the damage, and that is going to help us stay tanky. This build is very tanky, so you're able to kind of do some damage against some, higher level competition because you're not going to be getting one shot 100% of the time. On the chest piece, we're going to run Numbing Wrath. Numbing Wrath is going to give us additional Fortify for every point of Fury that we go over our max Fury. So we are going to be able to get Fortify, which is also going to help keep us tanky. Inner Calm on the gloves. Inner Calm is the engine that makes this build go, in my opinion. We are going to deal additional damage for each second that we stand still with a cap at 30%. And just to show what that looks like, you can see that my attack power right now is currently 4240. We're standing still. If I move around, boom, it goes down to 3262. And as we stand, you can see it just ramping up, and that does that as we're attacking. In the gameplay footage, you'll kind of see how the damage numbers start here when you hop into a mob, and then as you're going, if it's a big mob, your numbers are going to ramp up. We're going to run the aspect of Might on our pants, which is going to give us basic skills are going to grant us damage reduction, which is going to be massive for keeping us tanky. Audacity boots. The aspect of Audacity is a seasonal aspect for us this season, and this is really good. This is, if Inner Calm is the engine that makes this go, this is the turbo that makes it just go to that next level. Whenever there's 5 enemies close to you, you're going to stun them for up to 4 seconds. You can see this is a max roll on that. Can occur every 20 seconds. So you basically get a free stun built-in, baked into your build, which is going to ramp up the damage that we do, because we're going to do a lot of stuff where we're doing additional damage to stunned enemies. So this is going to actually ramp up that damage. Next, we're going to take accelerating on our two-hand bludgeoning weapon. So our crit strikes with our core skill, which is going to be our double swing, are going to grant us additional attack speed. So as we're standing still, as we're doing our double swing, you're going to see the animation get faster and faster and faster. So as we're doing more damage, we're taking more hits, or we're giving more hits as well. So that's just going to ramp up the overall damage as well. We're going to put Edge Masters on one of our single hand weapons. We do want to have like a mace on one of these. We just want to kind of make sure we have a mace on there. So Edge Masters, no big surprise. Edge Masters goes on pretty much every build in some fashion, where we're going to deal 10% increased damage based on our available fury. And so if we have a full fury bar, we're going to do more damage. So that's, one of the things there. We're going to run Retribution on the other single hand weapon, which is going to grant us the opportunity to stun distant enemies when they attack us, and also we're going to do increased damage to those stunned enemies. So you can see where we're kind of synergizing everything, right? Next up, we have the secondary offhand. We're going to use the slashing weapon here. This one we are going to use the smiting aspect, and this is the first time I've seen the smiting aspect be used in a build. Pretty much all the other ones I've never seen it done in there, so this one was a good one to see. We're gonna have an increased crit strike chance against injured enemies. So as we're doing damage to them, we're gonna increase our crit strike chance, which can ramp up our damage. We're also going to gain crowd control duration, so our stuns are gonna last longer, meaning that when we do more damage to stunned enemies, we're gonna do more damage to them for a longer period of time. So that's a really good one. Next up, no surprise, Bold Chieftains on one of our rings. Bold Chieftains decreases the cooldown on our shouts when we use them, so that is just bake it in. It's pretty much in every build. Next, we're going to use Echoing Fury. Echoing Fury has been used in a lot of different builds as well. We are going to generate Fury for the duration of our shout skills as well. And then last but not least, Necklace of Disobedience. Disobedience is used a lot. I see it a lot on chest and pants and stuff like that, but having it on the neck is a good spot for it here. We're going to gain increased armor for 4 seconds when you deal any form of damage. So we're going to just get tankier as we do more damage. It's always a nice thing to be tankier, because if you're alive, you can do more damage. If you're dead, you're not going to do any damage. We're going to go over the gems, basic standard gems, rubies in your armor, emeralds in your weapons. I do have a sapphire in this weapon. That's just because when I put it on, that's all I had. And so I put a sapphire. I think I'm actually going to try to do like a combination 50-50 sapphires and emeralds, because as you can see, sapphires we're going to gain crit strike damage to crowd controlled enemies, which is our stuns, and with emeralds we're going to do crit strike damage to vulnerable enemies. So I think there's something to be said for both with this particular build. Normally we see skulls in our jewelry. In season 1, don't even pick them up. As far as I'm concerned, for a bar build, don't even pick up your skulls. Use your malignant hearts. Your malignant hearts are going to have much more just base armor than the skulls will give you, and then also you're going to get these malignant heart affects, the effects for them. Like this one here is a wrathful heart, where we're going to do increased damage for each crowd controlled effect on the target. Unstoppable and stagger monsters are just going to take up a straight damage increase for that, and the wrathful hearts can go in any color. If you don't know, the malignant hearts, we do have red for, what are they, vicious, I believe. The red hearts are vicious, blue hearts are brutal, and the purple hearts are I forget the name, but there's red, blue, and purple for the base ones. And then there is the Wrathful, which are gray. And the Wrathful can go in all 3 colors. Other than that, they can only go in the color that they're assigned. So you can kind of see here, this Brutal Heart, let's just say we wanted to put this on. We can't put it on because it is not, we don't have a blue We don't have a blue one. If we did, let's just say this one was a blue piece, and we went to put it on over here, we would get like a little pop-up window that says, are you sure you want to trade this heart for this heart? Yes or no. You click yes. The old heart is gone forever. You're not getting it back. Same if you salvage these pieces of gear, you're not getting that malignant heart back. So if you do have a GG malignant heart to put in there, I would advise wait to put that on until you're in a spot where you're going to be keeping that piece of gear equipped for a long period of time. You don't want to have, you know, a really good malignant heart drop early, and, you know, you swap that piece of gear 50 times by the time you hit, you know, Paragon, you know, 70, right? You just don't want to do that. Next up, we're going to go over the abilities here. Paragon Tree, we'll go ahead and do that real quick since it loads right in. We're going to run Territorial on the first opening, and you can kind of see it's a pretty much a beeline just to get to the second one. And the second one, we're going to come up right here to run Ambidextrous. So we're getting additional damage out of our two-handed weapons, and then you kind of come over here. We're going to be actually moving over to the left and attaching a third board over here to the left. On the skill tree itself, it's a pretty flexible one. We're going to put 2 points into Lunging Strike to take Enhanced Lunging Strike. We are going to put all of our points that we can into Double Swing. You can see I have 2 from items, and then we're going to take down with Violent Double Swing so we get increased vulnerable. We're going to put 3 points total into Ground Stomp so we can get Tactical Ground Stomp. So we are going to generate Fury with our Ground Stomp. We're going to get a stun with our Ground Stomp, and we're going to increase that duration with the enhanced one. But we can see Ground Stomp is going to give us Fury. It's going to give us a stun. AoE does do a little bit of good damage as well. Rallying Cry, you can see item contribution 2. So out of that 3, we put 1 point into the base, and we put 1 point into Enhanced Rallying Cry just so we can get unstoppable in case we do get stunned or frozen or something like that. We have that get out of jail free card. Put 1 point into Challenging Shout so we can taunt the enemy so they can hit us, because as we get hit, we're going to generate Fortify and everything like that, and we're going to be able to, you know, stay alive a little bit longer. We are going to put 1 point into Booming Voice, which is going to affect the is going to increase the shout durations by 8%. And then we're going to max out Raid Leader so we can get that max 3% heal, and we're going to max out Guttural Yell so our shout skills are going to cause enemies to deal less damage. We're going to take damage. We want to take damage, but we don't want to die. So we want to mitigate that damage so we can, you know, get our Fortify and get, you know, moving along. We're going to max out Aggressive Resistance so we can gain 9% damage reduction while we're berserking. And then we're also going to take Prolific Fury. We're going to max that out. So while we're berserking, our Fury generation is increased by 18% as well. We are going to berserk a ton in this build. Swiftness, we're going to put 3 points into Swiftness. This is one where it gives us some flexibility down the road. As you get some, you know, some pieces that are going to have movement speed and things like that, you may want to go ahead and pull off the Swiftness and allocate those 3 points elsewhere where you're going to get more damage. We are going to max out Pit Fighter, so we are going to take less damage from distant enemies, and we're going to do more damage to close enemies. We are going to max out No Mercy, so we have 9% increased crit strike chance against immobilized, stunned, or slowed enemies, so that's a big one. We're going to put 3 points total into Steel Grasp. Steel Grasp is our chains that go out. It's like a crowd control, where we're going to bring the next mob to us so we can stand still longer so we can do more damage. This is also cool because it does, with the modifiers here, Enhanced Steel Grasp gives us vulnerable when we hit them, and the Fighter Steel Grasp gives us berserking with it as well. So that's a good way to kind of ramp up our damage as well. Thick Skin, each time we take direct damage, we are going to gain Fortify, so that's really big with that Challenging Shout. We can taunt them, we're going to take a lot of damage. However, we're going to mitigate a lot of that damage, but we're going to get that back as Fortify. We're going to max out Duelist, so we are going to get attack speed increased by 9% while using our one-handed weapons, which is going to be our double swing. We are going to max out Wallop and Concussion. These are pretty much standard in almost every build that I've seen for the Barbarian, so our bludgeoning weapons are going to increase damage by 15% if they're stunned or vulnerable. We're going to stun a ton. And Concussion is going to use our bludgeoning weapons are going to have a 30% chance to stun enemies off of that as well, and a 45% chance when using two-handed bludgeoning weapons. So that's why we have the one mace in our one-handed weapon. That way we can get that, you know, bludgeoning weapon potential to stun while we're using our double swing. So we have that option as well. We are also going to put 1 point into Tempered Fury. It's only going to increase our max Fury by 3. However, it does unlock the next 2 Invigorating Fury. We're going to max that out for 9% heal on our max life for every 100 Fury that we spend. And then Furious Impulse. Each time you swap weapons, you're going to gain 6 Fury. And that's going to come into play by assigning your weapons to your skills. You're going to swap those weapons as much as possible. And then also, we're going to take Walking Arsenal. So when the damage, we're going to deal direct damage with two-handed bludgeoning, two-handed slashing, or dual-wielded weapons. Basically, all of our weapons. We're going to grant 10% increased damage for 6 seconds, and then if all 3 bonuses are active, then we're going to deal an additional 15% damage. And that is the build there. So skill assignment, going back to that, we're going to assign like the two-handed bludgeoning weapon to our lunging strike, and then our dual wield weapons are going to be automatically assigned for our double swing. So we're going to be, as we're using our base attack, and then double swing, that's a weapon switch. So we're definitely going to be utilizing that. That is the base build. What I'm going to do for you guys now is we're just going to come out into I'm gonna cut forward to some gameplay just to kind of show you the gameplay style of this build and why I like it so much. So I'll see you in just a moment. All right, guys, so we are here in World Tier 3, so we can use a Tier 18 Nightmare Dungeon, which is going to mean that our mob density, our mob level is going to be level 71, which is about 9 levels above where I currently am as we speak. And then as we look at the dungeon affixes, we're going to have Volcanic, doing more damage to us. They're gonna have more attack speed, and they're gonna have slowing projectiles. Not the most ideal, but it is gonna be something where I just want to give you guys an idea of like the play style with this. So you can kind of see here, we're gonna just hit with our base. We're gonna ramp up our attack speed. You can kind of see how it goes, and then boom, we're gonna hit there. Bring the next mob, they get stunned. You know, you can kind of see the process, right? We're going to see if we can get a nice big group here. All right, you can see the slowing projectiles really take effect. All right, so we have a nice big group here. We got that base stun from the Audacity boots. Let's bring everybody in. Let's stun everybody, taunt them. And now we just cruise with our double swing. And we're done. And we're out, and we're moving on. This build is super fun. It is not like a super hard build to run. It's not like there's not a ton of insane like requirements that you're gonna need. You don't need massive stats to punch up above your weight, so to speak, with this one, like you do with, you know, some of the other builds. With like Whirlwind, you need good stats. With Hoda, you want good stats and stuff like that. But this one is kind of, you know, my stats are not insanely high. I will be the first to admit that. Like if we look at my stats, you know, we're not that high. 417 strength, willpower 320, 259 dex, and I am at level 62 currently. So you can kind of see. Did we not pick up that key? I thought we picked up that key. I thought we got the key from him. All right, that is less than ideal, but we'll move on. Let's see if we can speed run this here. Bring a nice big group in. Get them taunted so they can come at us. There we go. Let's bring you over here. Hit for a couple base hits just to get some some nice fury. Boom, there we go. Accidentally picked up a skull, unfortunately. So that's gonna just take up some space. We're not really looking to take up space, but you can kind of see, you can kind of run past a mob, turn around, and, you know, hit them, bring them in nice and close, pop your shouts so you can do more damage, and you're able to kind of really cruise. This is, what is this, 9 levels ahead of me, so we're not punching up, you know, a ton. We're punching up about nine levels, which is, you know, I would say in a decent range. We're not gonna be, with my stats, just the sigils that I had available to me. This was the best one that I had available to me. I crafted a couple just to try to get a couple. I've been running a lot of the sigils that just have been dropping in the open world for me, and some of the other dungeons. I've just been running them to clear them out of my inventory, so I haven't been getting a lot of like big boy sigils yet. So let's see if we can cruise over here. We're probably going to get like a slay all enemies on the back end of this, which is going to be a bummer if we do, because I do want to show off what this does against a boss, and I may just go ahead and cut to the boss from here if we do get a slay all enemies or something like that. All right, so here we are at the boss. This was an Animus collection one, so I had to go all over this one, and I didn't want to waste your guys' time because we're not really showing off the dungeon. We're trying to show off the build. So we'll come in here. We'll try to pop some stuff here, get some vulnerables and some procs, but you can kind of see the damage as we're just kind of standing still, just doing work here. Get some vulnerable on. Couple base attacks to try to build up some fury. We got them staggered here. Unfortunately, we didn't have the fury generation, but there you go. Boom, boom, boom. Easy clap. You know, 9 levels ahead of us as far as the mob levels. So not you know, 10, 15, 20 levels, just because of what I had available as far as nightmare sigils, but you can kind of see where this does its work. It's a really good one against the bosses. It's good against really big mobs because you're just cruising around. The more you take hits, the more fortify you're taking, and you're being tankier. And as you get tankier, you're going to do more damage. We're going to proc those stuns automatically because of the Audacity boots. And yeah, we're going to be doing a lot of damage with this. This is one of those builds that I think a lot of people need to see. And if you're a brand new barb, I think this is the perfect build to go with because you don't need absolute insane stats to make this work. So hope you guys like this video. If you did, do all the YouTube stuff, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you want to see in the next one. And I will see you in that next one. Love you guys. Peace.